Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frostin Pyro and today we are finally back with another video, and in today's video I shall be showing you 5 simple tips to transform this simple Minecraft house to something a little bit better. Tip number 1, shape. Shape is probably the most important thing about a house or a building. But when it comes to houses, it's not just a little how tall it is. No, it's about the way it looks. What I mean by that is, like, as I just did right then, I built a massive open room which adds to the shape, and it looks much more interesting than just a small square or a massive square or any size square. So shape can be just adding small rooms and just add so much more detail. But I'm just doing 4 blocks high on the walls for this, just for the sake of this video. I'll usually do 3, just so you can have enough jumping height. But shape, I just can't say how important it is. Tip number 2. This is a very classic way of adding detail to a build. You probably know of it. You just get a piece of wood and you put it on the corners of each side of the house. While this is optional, it does add a lot of detail to the build and it makes it look so much nicer. Even if you don't have any other details, it makes the build look 10 times better. But you may also need to do a little bit of exploring to find the piece of wood that fits with the block that you chose to build your house. But with little divots like I just built in, you can choose whether to build in them or not. It's completely up to your preference. Tip number 3. This will probably be one of my favorite tips of this whole video. I'm sorry, as I'm looking for it. You probably know it. It's a nice looking window. So you just get a stained glass pane or just a normal glass pane. You place it down and then you put trap doors on the sides, and it makes it look like curtains or whatever you want to call them. It could be really anything depending on what you want them to be, but that's not what the important thing is. Anyways, so it just is a nice detail. So you just go around, place them, and you can move things. Sorry, I forgot to mention, you can move things around as I just did, because I didn't like the look of the 2 trapdoors touching each other, because it just didn't look exactly nice. You can do whatever you want that makes your build look nice. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So you just go around the build, placing trapdoors on each side of the pane. Remember to place them evenly, because it can get a little bit boring if they're overused or there's too many of them, and it can just ruin the effect of the whole window, nice looking window effect, and it just ruins it. But as I did say, it makes the build look so much nicer. But just go around looking for any areas you think you missed, and then just place it there like I just did. Tip number 4. This goes along with the window tip, and it also looks really nice. What I am doing is creating a simple garden bed underneath the windows. It's nice to look out, and it's also a nice little detail to add to your build. How I'm doing it, as I have shown, is just placing some grass blocks underneath your windows and placing trapdoors around them. As you saw I just did before, I removed a garden bed because they were right next to each other, and I realized I couldn't place the trapdoors around both of them, so I had to remove one because I thought it would look weird without all of the sides of the garden bed with trapdoors while all the others have. Once again, this is optional and it's up to your personal preference what you would like, as this is your house. Another little detail that I'm about to add, as you can see, is I am placing some grass or fern, whatever you want to call it, down, and it adds a nice little detail. I realized I didn't make the build tall enough so I could put it throughout the whole garden bed. I even tried removing the trapdoors. I didn't think that looked nice, but this is personal preference. As I have said, this is your build. Tip number 5, the roof. The roof is probably the second most important thing of a build apart from the shape, and it looks, well, it just makes the house look 10 times better, and it adds a whole different feel to the house depending on the roof you choose. Also, if you want a tall house, there are different roofs that you can go with, but from the size of my house that I'm building right now, I'm just going a sort of simple roof. You may notice that I stopped halfway through building the entrance roof for a reason, and now I'm just building the main roof. So yeah, all you do is build up to the middle on like the sides and the entrance, and you just work on the main one, and you will see what I'll do with the entrance roof in a second. But it just makes it look so nice, your house. And I know the ends are a little bit ugly from the wood, but I will fix that in a second, which I'll show you in the next tip. But you just keep going along, following that same pattern, and once you're done, you can work on the different roof. So with the entrance roof, I connect it to my main roof, and it looks so much better. Tip number 6. Now, this is probably the third most important tip because it also adds a lot of detail, and it does go along with the roof. Now, do not copy what I am doing right now, because I realized I made a mistake and I demolished most of it, but this is also sort of me getting an idea. But when I realized I had to have the stairs below the logs apart from when I'm doing the up part. So I'm just figuring this out along the way. So I realized that I should place it lower, but also to make it look a lot nicer, I had to remove a block off each of the corner logs, and I'm sorry for the sudden change, but a nice little detail that I did was I put an upside down stair above the windows before, but if they are going on the up arc, so the part where it goes up, I did not do it because in my opinion it didn't look that nice, but I just went around placing the stairs below the logs and put an upside down stair every time there was a window. But for this one, just a little bit of extra detail. I put the log across just to make it look nicer and add that little bit extra support and that little bit extra of a nice look. I wasn't sure how to fill it in, so for now I just went to the other ends and I put logs across there too. I figured out that probably trying at the entrance wasn't the best idea, so I tried at this side, but I couldn't come up with anything to really fill it in, so I ended up just giving up on that. Tip number 7. This is probably the easiest one to do, but it also adds that extra layer of detail. So you probably or may know what I'm doing. And you may have seen it in other videos before, but I am building a chimney, and it also, I chose polished andesite. You may normally see brick used, but I just brought it up to a point, and then you get a cobblestone wall and you place it on top so it looks like the chimney came to a point, it's about to open. I decided to experiment for a bit, but I ended up just leaving it as one wall. Now just for simplicity, I got cobwebs instead of glass because glass may be a little bit more difficult. So just spam it in one direction so it looks like smoke, but don't spam too much because it may look a little bit messy and ruin the smoke effect. Tip number 8. This one will probably be the one that is probably the one that matters the least, but it also adds a nice sense of detail. It's not really a part of the house itself, but I am building a pathway. So the blocks you would need is gravel, coarse dirt, and cobblestone. I picked soul sand at first because I thought it would be a nice touch, but I ended up changing that to cobblestone. So just break random holes in the ground and sort of like a path, and then fill those holes in with your blocks of choice. And I've then thought that soul sand wasn't nice, so I replaced it for cobblestone. I then decided that I needed more, so I just broke a few more holes. You can vary your path up to as much as you want. Also, another nice little detail, just getting some grass or ferns and putting them around your house may also look quite nice. It just also adds another sense of detail to it. Tip number 9. This is our finished product, but for tip number 9, subscribe to Green and to Jerocraft. They're both amazing builders, and Green does great building tutorials. He covers everything that I did in this video, but he covers it better. And Jerocraft is great for inspiration. But thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.